Hello, hello, hello. How are you? How are you? I'm making sure I'm here. Make sure you can see me. And if you can see me, that would be great. You can. You can see me. Unfortunately for you, you can see me. Hi, guys. I am coming to you live from sunny Florida. It's hot here. I don't know where you are, if it's still hot or chilly, but it's hot here. I'm ready for a little bit cooler would be nice. Not much, but a little bit. So happy Tuesday. I'm glad you could join me. Today we're going to be talking about not needing the million things you think you need to work virtually, because you don't. In my opinion, you don't need them. But first, if we haven't met, I am Stephanie Brote. It's nice to meet you. I worked in corporate for over 20 years as an executive assistant, and now I work from home, mostly from my home office most of the time, sometimes other places, and I teach other people how to leave the office and work virtually as well, if that's what they're interested in. So that's a little bit about me. It's nice to meet you. Nice to virtually meet you. So when you think about working virtually, you think you need a million things to get started. And I'm here to tell you that is not the case. For me, at least, it was not the case. I started after I had been laid off from work, and I had a very small severance that I was given, and that's all I had. So I didn't have the money to buy a lot of things or invest in a lot of areas or do some of the things that I hear you need a lot of. I just didn't have it. So I had to research. I spent hours and hours and hours trying to figure out how to make this work. And that's when I really got overwhelmed, because all the research told me I needed things like, and I wrote these down so I wouldn't forget them. I needed things like a website. I needed things like company colors and a logo, and I needed pictures, and I needed a desk and computer and a monitor, and some people had more than one monitor, and I needed lots and lots and lots. I mean, I can't remember all the things that I knew I need. I needed branding, and I needed to say certain things about what I was doing. There was so much stuff that I was so overwhelmed. And I didn't have any of that. I never did get any of that when I first started out. Now I have a lot of that now, but when I first started, I did it and was very successful, I think, by doing it just the way I did it. So, number one, instead of a website, I used my LinkedIn profile as my website. Now, I know people will tell you that you should have a website, and you know, if best of all worlds, yes, you should have a website. And if you have the money to put and do a website, do a website. And some aren't that expensive, but I was really on a tight budget. So, and if you're working as a side hustle, here's another example. If you're doing this, working virtually as a side hustle until you get going, and then you're going to leave your 9 to 5, then yes, you could probably have the money to create a website and do it this way. But my startup was lean and mean, and this was how I did it. This is how I did it. So instead of a website, I created a better LinkedIn profile. I worked on my profile, made it act as my website. So that was the first thing. No website, but I worked on my LinkedIn profile, and that's where I told everyone to go look. They could find out about me there on LinkedIn. They said I needed a logo. Number two, you needed a logo. You needed something that looked really fancy. I didn't even know what I wanted to call myself, so I went with my name, and I went to Fiverr, and I think it cost me $15 to get them just to put my name in cursive, and that's what I used as my logo. So I didn't spend thousands on a website, and I hadn't spent thousands on a logo. My branding and colors, I didn't get that done. I picked my colors by going to Canva to find what was inexpensive and colors I liked, and that's what I used. Because I didn't have the money to go anywhere else with it. You needed pictures, and I didn't have pictures, so I used an old photo I have, which I'm still using. I do need to get pictures taken, but I had it. It looked professional, and I went with that. So I started out with no desk and a desk. I didn't have an office desk. I didn't have a chair. And actually, I'm renting now. I still don't have an office. I did back at my old house afterwards. So when I started, I had no desk and no chair and no office. And now at this stage I again have no desk, no office, no chair. I sit outside most of the time to work, but that's by choice. But I didn't even buy a computer. I had an old laptop, and that's what I used. For the first year, probably, I used what I had. I spent money only on what I had to spend money on. I had to get a license. I spent money on that. I think it was $15 maybe. It wasn't a lot. I started with what I had, and I talked to people, and I wrote to people, and I let everyone know what I was doing, and I made connections, and I gave them samples of work I had done. I worked. So for those people that say you have to have the website, you have to have a nice computer monitor and desk and office area, that you need publishing. There was another thing. I used Publisher that came on my computer to create flyers that I sent to my clients. I mean, I used everything that was free. Any program online that was free that I could use to accommodate what I needed, that's what I used. And I grew fast enough that I now have assistants that help me handle the workload, and I couldn't handle all the clients I had coming in, and it wasn't from having a fancy website when I first started out. So I wanted to stress to you that for one, you don't need it. Two, you still have to work, though. The work is the biggest part of it. This is not something that just happens overnight for you. You work at it, and you are still going to work at it no matter when you do get all the fancy stuff. You're still working at it. This isn't something that just is easy and you just make money in your sleep. It's not that. You are working, but you don't need all the fancy schmancy things they say you need. You can do it with what you have, unless you want to. And if you have it and want to do it and it's on the side, then by all means do it all, because eventually you will do it. I mean, eventually you'll get to where you want to do it. So that was what I wanted to talk about today. I did have someone email me a question about the startup expenses, and it brought this to mind, and I thought, I need to talk about that. If people think that you have to do everything you see online, you don't. It's great if you want to, but I started with none of it, and I did very well. So I want to encourage you. If you don't have it to spend and you want to get started and you desperately want to try it, then I say go for it. Try it. So on that note, if you're interested in this, I do have a free webinar, and the first one is tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time. If you want to attend my webinar, I would love to see you there. There's another one at 6:30 on Thursday night, and then there'll be two more the following week. They're not open yet, but I'll talk all about some of these items, plus my new online course that's coming out for you. The door's open last time for the year, and I'll tell you about that as well. So I would love to see you on there if you're interested in this, or if you have questions. I do get people emailing me questions, and I answer every one of them. So if you want to email me, I'd love to talk to you. I hope you have a great week. I hope you are enjoying whatever part of the country you're in. And I hope to talk to you at one of my webinars, so sign up if you're not in there yet. And you can go to stephaniebrote.com is where you'll find it. It's on my homepage right at the top, and you can sign up for that webinar. So I think that's it. That's it. I will talk to you soon, and have a good one. Bye for now.